Good day. My name is Michael Schmeeckle, and welcome to Everyone's Got a Story. What's yours? Today we have Mr. Stephen Oleen. Do you prefer Steve or
Steve's perfect.
Sounds good.
Yep.
So thank you for being here today. It's most appreciated to have you on the show.
Good to be here.
So what Everyone Has a Story means, or I should say the show means, is that we've all gone through life. Life happens. What you've gone through in your life now is mundane to you. But when someone hears your story, they maybe gain inspiration and or hope. So today we're going to talk to Steve and have him tell us about his story and why it's important to him.
Well, thanks for having me. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
I will let you know that I am new to the area, so I moved here about a little over 2 years ago. Okay. My story, by the way, started a long time ago, and it's been a great ride. I come from a really good family, a loving family, and had the opportunity to grow up all over the United States and in Panama Canal Zone.
Oh, nice.
And today, people say, "What do you do, Steve?" And I says, "Well, I'm a career professional salesman." Well, that can mean an awful lot of things. But speaking of sales, the very first sales job I had. And I was thinking about this the other day because I'm writing a business plan for a new venture I'll be launching later on this year. And part of the executive summary is kind of write it like a novel, but sort of sum up where you've been in life and what gives you this unique perspective. And, we'll be talking to investors, so you want to make sure they say, "Oh yeah, this guy is for real, and here's how he got his sales start." I was 7 years old in Panama Canal Zone. And I had the most successful mango stand in the neighborhood.
Okay.
Now, I lived on a military base. My dad was the American Red Cross, and we were down at Fort Kobe, Panama Canal Zone. And our housing unit, because it's on a military base, our housing unit was on the corner, and I was blessed to have this huge mango tree growing in the side yard. And I thought, you know what? If I could get those mangoes out of that tree, I could make some money. I could make my own money. And that's what I did. And when you climb a mango tree in Panama Canal Zone, hot, humid, tropical, lots of creepy, crawly things live in those trees. So I got an opportunity to meet all of them. But the mission was to harvest the ripe mangoes.
Yes.
And so that was my production part of my experience. I started off in production, was harvesting mangoes in rather hostile environment in that tree.
True.
But I set up the stand right on the corner, and 2 cents a piece, you could buy a nice big fat juicy orangish greenish mango, take it home and make a salad out of it. And I remember my first sale, I had 2 cents in my pocket, and that's kind of how I started my story about my sales training. One thing I sort of remember about that, and I say sort of, I mean, I was like 7, so you can't get too deep. But
true.
There's a certain satisfaction in earning those 2 cents. Could have been $200, could have been $2,000 because of the effort that I put into it. I really worked hard for those mangoes. And the other biggest thing, I suppose, that helped me in sales and anything I did in life, especially as a young person, I had the kind of parents who never said you shouldn't do it, who never discouraged you from trying something.
That's good.
And I don't feel sorry for people that didn't have parents like that, but you know what? If you're going through life and you didn't have parents, take it from me. Give yourself permission to try it. It's just so important to try it because you always regret the things you didn't do.
Correct.
Nothing wrong with failing, nothing wrong with stubborn. It would have been nothing wrong with me falling out of that tree. Being eaten by some of those critters crawling around, I wouldn't promote that. But
No.
But you just try. And because they never held me back, anytime I tried to do something, I remember later living in outside of Baltimore, Maryland, actually in a little place called Bel Air, Maryland. And it was out in the country, and it was boring. What am I going to do? I'm going to write a newspaper. So here I'm this little kid, I got the old Underwood that my dad had, and I started typing out the news of the neighborhood. Okay. Not too much happened. I talked about my first day on the bus to school, because I hadn't been used to doing that, living in Panama Canal Zone. This is after we came back. And but I remember there was a break in the fences, and there's this horse farm, and these horses got out going down the road. And I thought that was the coolest thing. So my brother and I were chasing these horses. That was also a time my brother had somewhat of an incident with an electric fence, which is a story for another day. You probably can guess what it was.
True.
But I wrote about that story. So I created this little newspaper, and I took it to the neighbors. Now, this is a farming community. It was out in the country. And I think I was asking like 7 cents a copy. And I think I sold 2 or 3 of them outside the family, which was, I would consider that a success.
That's true.
The thing is, my mom and dad never discouraged it. Mm-hmm. It's goofy as heck for someone that young putting out a newspaper, but go for it, Steve. Mm-hmm. So I did. And it's kind of been that way throughout my entire life. And you just you find yourself in the moment of, what am I going to do next? Well, something always presents itself if you're aware of what's going on around you. Just sort of observe and go with your heart, go with your head. Hopefully you make a good decision.
True.
But don't be afraid to try it.
Exactly.
And so my background, as I said, was career professional sales. I owned a communications business back in Ohio for 30 years. We installed data networks and some pretty sophisticated business telephone systems. I got pretty good at selling. I like selling. Mm-hmm. It almost didn't matter the product, as long as it was a good product. It was an ethical, moral product that I could believe in. And but I got really good at it. I studied it, and then I ended up teaching selling, which I really enjoy doing. Mm-hmm. And in my selling career, I was always trying to figure out the best way to get in front of people who were actually in the market for my product. And prospecting is probably, there's no question about it, 80% of a selling job is prospecting. Finding qualified people to tell your story to.
That is true.
That's the toughest thing to do. That's the most expensive thing, most time-consuming thing to do. So I started to get this crazy little idea that if I could create a registry, see the internet's here now and some wonderful things can happen with technology. If I could create a registry where people who have a need for a product or service, a very specific need. In other words, not I'm just shopping, but it's in my budget, I've got a time frame to purchase, I need to buy X. Now, at the time, I was selling business telephone systems, so I was looking for people who needed a new phone system and a big market area, which is about 1/3 of the state of Ohio. And how do I get people to register the fact that they need a telephone system? This is a salesman dreaming about being real lazy and just going right to the presentation, skipping the hard part, the prospecting. And I really thought about that a lot. And it kind of came to me. It developed this little seed of an idea, started to take hold, and I started thinking about it, and I thought, this is possible. There is a way to create a registry of people who are absolutely committed in the market to buy a product or service. Absolutely. And if I can provide enough compelling reasons for them to register that with me, wow, that's pretty powerful. Who would want to know what's in that registry?
True.
Anybody selling something, right? So it doesn't matter what it is. You need a new home, you need a new car, you need a telephone system, you need a data network, you need new carpet for your house, a new roof, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. If I can create a registry where the reasons to join it are so compelling, so rewarding, that you'd be crazy not to do it.
Very true.
You're going to buy it, right? You're already in the market to buy that new roof. Register it with this website of mine. Mm-hmm. I'll make sure you let certain things in business act for you, 100% for you. Competition. So if I can leverage competition on behalf of consumers, right? Mm-hmm. So a consumer, they don't have the time, money, or resources to be make the perfect purchase. How do you do that? How do you investigate and research everyone who has that product for sale? Every product itself, how do you research to get the best one? What we have going for us in a free market capitalist society is competition. It's the great equalizer. Competition, Correct. If you let competition work for you, you get the best price. Best price. It's not always the cheapest. Mm-hmm. Best price for you, best product, best service. They used to say pick two. But I say you can have all three. But you have to take part in a process that allows competition to work for you. People don't know how to do that. That's what we'll do at this website. Cool. So we launched this. This idea came to fruition, by the way. It started to make so much sense. And as I started talking to potential investors, because it would take a lot of money to do this. And I don't write code, by the way. I've seen code, but it's like that's like saying I've seen Martian, because it means nothing to me. So, and my ADD would not allow me to sit down and learn how to write code. But so God bless the people who can do it and have the patience to do it. But I found a group of people who would do that for me, and they did a very good job.
Awesome.
And we launched it with the idea that business networking groups would use this new process that I created. So the process in a nutshell is people who want to buy things will come to our website. They'll commit to the fact they are buying. They'll establish a time frame to purchase, and they'll answer 3 to 5 questions about their purchase, why they're buying it, specifically what they're looking for. In other words, if you need a new roof, we'll want to know if it's a commercial roof or is it a residential, that sort of thing. The answers don't even have to be right. They just have to be a pretty good guess of what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Because the people who sell roofs know what they want to know. They want to know that you're legitimately looking for a new roof.
True.
Since we're using that example, one of the things is roofers want to know, do you have insurance?
True.
They want to know how they're going to get paid.
True.
Well, I created this website. It's called what'sinitforme.com. It's public facing now. There's a big sign across the homepage that says we've closed it down until this COVID nonsense is over with, because the idea of the website, the way we launched it, was to have business people meet, and then the process would help business salespeople, business owners as a group meet. Well, guess what? We launched this in March of 2020, right?
Yes.
So really January, but I was actually setting groups up in March. Along comes this nasty little virus, and they start passing laws saying you can't meet. So it's like, okay, couldn't have anticipated that one. But
it kind of hampers your plans.
It did hamper the plans. It actually stopped it cold. But it allowed me a couple things to happen in my life. Number one, let's take a step back and rethink how we're going to take this to market, because COVID in those days, almost a few years ago, you didn't know how it was going to affect us.
Correct.
Heck, a lot of us weren't even sure we'd be around to get a new roof. But it gave a big pause, because I was.
You're on fire.
I was on fire. I was shooting down the tracks. And so it said, okay, let's pause, put on the brakes. Let's think about this. How do you best serve the public with a concept like this? The concept is unbelievable. The public still doesn't know about it. And if you go to what'sinitforme.com, and you can do it, you can't join. I mean, we've stopped that. And you can read what it's all about. It's kind of interesting. But we have decided to go into a different direction, and a new site is being built.
Which is awesome.
And I am so excited about it.
Very
it's going to be
awesome.
1,000 times better than what'sinitforme.com.
Very awesome.
But I was back in Ohio at the time, and I had shut my communications business down because I was going to do What's in It for Me full time. And my wife was looking at me like okay, you big dummy, how are we going to put food on the table now going forward? Well, some real blessings happened in my life were happening at that time, even though the world seemed like in chaos. My daughter and her husband had moved out to this area, and they were having a little baby. My first granddaughter. And that just, I never thought that would affect me like it did. Oh man, that little girl just owns me. So we said, you know what, COVID's here. The telephone system business was shut down. My What's in It for Me is put on hold. We're not making any revenue. Let's sell the house. Let's move out to this area and be in our granddaughter's life. Because no matter how big this business opportunity was with What's in It for Me, it didn't matter how big it was. The priority was that little granddaughter.
Yes.
And if there's anything that people don't need to understand is no matter what your plans are, and you're all full of yourself, and you've got it down pat, and you're hard charging, fireballing down the tracks, family is the most important thing.
Yes.
Your relationship with God is the most important thing. Those things in life are what give you a full, rich life, not money, not the success in business or anything else. My dad, I grew up on little cliches. I mean, I like them because they're little reminders of what I should be thinking about. Little reminders that when I stumble, how am I going to get back up? And my dad taught me a long time ago, and it was just kind of a throwaway thing. But my dad was kind of like that. He'd be sitting there reading a book or smoking his pipe or what have you when I was a little kid. And Steve, he'd say, just remember, being poor is a state of mind, but being broke is just a temporary condition. In other words, you have choices.
Yes.
And if you have no money, and what I was thinking with what's in it for me was, oh my gosh, wealth beyond the dreams of avarice. Right? Does it sound good?
Yeah.
It came from a Star Trek. Actually, it came from like Plato or something, but I remember that because I was looking at the possibility with what's in it for me that was enormous. It was going to touch every corner of this earth, and by the way, it still is. Mm-hmm. But when push comes to shove, the most important thing was me hightailing it out here and being in my little granddaughter's life, and it's the best decision I ever made. Yes. Now, there are consequences to all decisions, right? Mm-hmm. One of them was I left a support ring of people back in Ohio that was vast. I mean, I knew a lot of people, a lot of friends, a lot of people I relied on. A lot of people relied on me. I just loved the camaraderie of the friendships that I had. Right. And I come out here and I don't know anybody. And I will tell you this to your audience, this guy is one of the first people I met. I came out here thinking I could take the what's in it for me, even though COVID was still going on, and I could still start some groups. Mm-hmm. We'll be that rebel group that meets behind doors, and like the old green door in the Prohibition days, you have to give the secret handshake and a knock on the door to get into the club. But and I had I don't know if you remember this. I had a meeting where I was trying to introduce people to the WIFM process. Correct. WIFM is an acronym for What's in It for Me, and you came. Yep. And I remember you because your eyes lit up. You love this concept. Oh yeah. And I got to tell you, when people hear it for the first time, they either get it like right now, or they pause a little bit, and then something triggers, and they go, "Oh, I get it." You got it like right away. Oh yes, I definitely resonated with it. Well, I remember you coming up to me after the meeting and saying, "Man." You probably didn't say, "Man, I don't know who the heck you are, but I want to be a part of this." I do remember you saying that. Yes. And I know no one out here. I don't have a problem with getting in front of a group of strangers and talking. Obviously, I kind of bloviate okay. But you really got it. And it actually inspired me. I thought, oh man, that's what I need. I have no one in my life out here, except my granddaughter. Well, and your family. Which you'll never replace her. Of course not, of course not. But I started meeting with you regularly because you became that person I could talk to. Mm-hmm. And I want to tell everyone out there, if you think you're entrepreneurial, you're not going to do it alone. You've got to surround yourself with people that you believe in and that'll listen to you and give you honest feedback. And you did, and I kind of love that. I'm still doing that. So how long has it been now? Almost a whole 2 years. Going almost 3, but definitely 2 years. Well, I moved out here at the end of December. So 2.5 years ago. So about 2 years at least. Yeah. And it's been good. And if I remember, I was at the Tara Schmeeckle, and from ITEX, she was able to have me meet at the Garden Cafe at the Garden Cafe, that's right.
At Rockbrook, if I remember correctly, which is pretty cool. So in all this time, I have met with you a lot. Yep. And what I love about it is because I just call Michael up. I say, hey, I'm buying coffee. Where do you want to get together? And what's happening is, I never hired you as a coach because I don't really think I need coaching. I need someone actually to kind of hold me back and bat me around a little bit and give me a good, honest feedback. Yes. And what you call that is soundboarding. And tactical soundboarding. Tactical soundboarding. It makes perfect sense. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, I was very excited and encouraged when you're thinking about offering that as a service. Yes. Yes.
to your coaching is soundboarding, because you're not there to tell me I'm wrong. You're not there. You're there to listen, to let my brain solve my own problems.
Correct.
Because they will, folks. We only use 3 to 10% of our brains. So no matter what the estimates are, most of it we're not using. So if you have someone who can actually help you get those thoughts out in the air, you'll solve your own problems. You'll come up with your own conclusions. You'll come up with your own direction. But that soundboarding capability of having that is just priceless. So I'm gonna offer this right now. If you get that going through your thing, if you ever want someone to sit in, I'd love to do that. Believe it or not, I can actually shut up. One of the things that I learned in sales, the number one thing, you sell with your ears, not your mouth. That's why God gave you 2 ears. You listen. People will tell you how to sell them. No, let me say that differently. People will tell you how to close them on the sale, because they're going to tell you what problem that you want to solve. They're going to tell you what features need to be present in order to solve that problem. They know. A good salesman is a soundboarder. Yes. And so anyway, if you get that going, let me know. I'll sit in and help any way I can.
Well, I'm actually in the process of restructuring my companies. And so that probably here in the next few weeks to few months, we'll be getting it set out to be back out to the public here real soon.
Good.
And it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, count me in if you need help.
You got it.
So anyway, that's what brought me here, and that's what I'm doing. The What's in It for Me is being torn down completely. We're coming back with a brand new process that's even better. We're going to be concentrating on the wedding industry to start.
Awesome.
Only because it makes so much sense. There's 25 different product categories that a bride will be purchasing.
True.
All
Very
or
true.
some of. And think about this. A bride's getting married. She has to buy 25 different things. Anything from limo services to the photo booths to caterers and wedding bands,
Correct.
all that stuff.
Correct.
And with my process, we help her leverage competition on all 25.
Yes.
All 25.
Yes.
Meaning I can get
Yes.
5, 6, 7, 8 competitors. I don't want to go too far on how this works.
Well, we'll definitely have to come you back for a second show for them when you get closer.
Oh,
to
I'd love to do that. But at the end of the day, on her wedding day at the reception hall, she'll open an envelope of a cash money that would probably pay for the wedding.
Exactly.
That's the bottom line of what we're doing.
Plus, in a roundabout speaking, the bride, the groom, the new family that's being made, being created together out of love of how they are together, that opportunity that you've created and in the process out there for the public to enjoy here soon.
Absolutely.
Will definitely be a world changer over time.
I think it has the potential to do that, and they're creating a new personal economy.
Correct.
And
Correct.
wedding day is day one of that new economy.
That is correct.
And we're going to be a part of that in a big, big, big way. I don't know how much time we have left, but I wanted to mention.
About 2-3 minutes.
So as a salesperson who closed my business down back in Ohio, I am out here and developing this new website. It'll take investment dollars, and it's going to take probably the most of this year to put it out there. So I've been looking for something to do.
Okay.
Because I have to make an income, because my wife still looks at me and says, Steve, what the heck? We still have to put food on the table. Yeah. Now, the good news is I'm an old guy, and I've got retired. I almost said old fart. And so I'm getting by. I can do okay, but I want to get back in on the sales. So I started. You introduced me to a woman named Donna Rutherford who owns Omaha Water Store, and I started getting her water.
Yes, I love that water.
It has changed. My wife will not drink anything else.
I've been on that water for
not
almost
even
5 years
bottled
now.
water. Have you?
Yes.
5?
And it is
love
the best water I've ever had in my life.
So I started looking into it, and Donna is taking on a new product for an in-house, whole house filtration system.
Ooh, nice.
That infuses molecular hydrogen into the water, which has healing properties that are unbelievable. So nice. It's going to be it's a very sophisticated water filtration system. Replaces your water softener and that kind of thing. You put it at the front end of the house where the water comes in, whether it comes to the city or from a well, and it completely filters that water perfectly. It gets everything out of it.
Very
arsenic,
nice.
all the heavy metals, everything that's in city water. And then it infuses molecular hydrogen into that water for health benefits. And it's there on demand.
And I also love the taste of it too.
Oh, it's just amazing. And you know, I talk to a lot of people now. I'm going to be getting into that water business, and everybody kind of gets down on city water systems. Don't get down on them. You know, the city of Omaha has to process water for billions of gallons for everybody, right? And they have safety standards they have to hit, and they've got to do it within a budget.
Yes.
And the pipes have been around for 100 years and this sort of thing.
Pretty much.
We fight all that.
Pretty much, yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's not government's responsibility. They're doing a pretty good job of getting us water that's not allowing, at least we're not keeling over dead every time I drink a glass of water.
Well, true.
But we have a responsibility as well.
Yes.
So Donna is stepping up and introducing this whole house filtration system to the Omaha area. And I've told Donna I will give presentations in the home.
Which is good.
Doesn't happen very often these days, but I'm looking forward to doing it. I've been studying a lot. I am absolutely convinced every home should have one of these. So call the Omaha Water Store. Say you want Steve to give you a presentation, and I'll come out and give one. No pressure. I'm all about just presenting the facts and seeing if there's a good fit for a product and the consumer. And if not, hey, we walk away.
Very true. Very true.
If it is, it's a wonderful thing. Your life will be changed by it.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
That's who I am.
And it's a very good story that you have there, and it's a very good life that you've enjoyed and it met so many amazing people from all genres around the world.
I'm still enjoying it.
Oh yes,
I got a long way to go.
That's a good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you very much for being on my show today, Steve.
Enjoyed every minute of it.
And thank you for everyone being out there in the world of Earth.
Earth.
So, my name is Michael Schmeeckle, and thank you once again for being on Everyone's Got a Story. What's yours?